When it comes to networking, I have discovered that there are three categories of networkers along a spectrum. On one side, you have these super networkers who just love to network. When on the other side of the spectrum, you have those who wince at the very thought of, oh God, I have to network. And then, of course, there's a middle of the road path where most of us come into the picture, which is that it depends when we're networking. And what happens when your contacts go cold, especially if they're valuable? Hi, I'm Vatsala Shukla from Karmic Coaching, and today we are going to be looking at this very topic, and I'm going to help you to be able to regain communications and connections with those valuable cold contacts. But first, I want to talk to you about reaching out on LinkedIn with a cold network or a network that has gone cold. These are two completely different things, and in fact, this blog post was inspired by a recent incident where I received a connection request and it was a pure sales pitch, and one which made me wonder, have you even bothered to check what I do? Now, this is reaching out to a cold network on LinkedIn. And if you are doing similar things, I'd advise you to stop it immediately. When we talk about personalization, we talk about trying to find a common ground, not give a veiled cold pitch and hope that you're going to get business because, hey, I don't know you from Adam or Eve. I'm not going to work with you if you put up this kind of a message. On the other hand, a network that has gone cold is one that was quite active till some time back, and then you have lost touch and you need to reconnect. So here's a question for you. Think about it. What's the temperature of your personal network? Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it mild? Is it lukewarm? Tepid waters, maybe? Whichever way it is, unless it's hot, there are ways that we can reignite the network. But first, another truth bomb that I need to give you is that when you're reaching out to your contacts looking for a job or referral and you haven't been in touch with them for some time, then you are going to get disappointing results. Now, it's natural for your important colleagues to be less enthusiastic if they only hear from you when you're asking for a favor. Regular communication will strengthen your relationships. And in fact, if you prove that you are a better contact to have, people will be delighted to hear from you. And I go into more details on how to do that in my blog post about being the difference between networkers and netweavers, and I'll be sharing the link with you later. So let's get started. The first tip that I would like to offer you when you are reaching out to a contact that has gone cold, especially if you've been neglecting to return the phone calls earlier because you were simply too busy, is to apologize. And a very sincere apology. Acknowledge your lapse and ensure that you're considerate in the future if your contact decides to forgive you and recommence the relationship. The second tip is to start within your immediate network first and use the opportunities you have to practice your networking skills and make new contacts. They're all around you. You simply have to find them and look for the leads amongst those whom you interact with daily, including co-workers and other job seekers or business friends. But start with them first and build up your confidence before you move on to even colder contacts. When you're planning to reconnect with someone, please do some research first because you must have some common point to talk about. You could try to find out whether someone has changed a job or gotten married since you last spoke. And some good resources to do that are to check on LinkedIn, check their LinkedIn profile, even go on Facebook if you're friends with them on Facebook, or talk to mutual friends and find out what's up in their life. And using this information, make sure that you're prepared for your first conversation after such a long time. Another tip is to stay informed about current affairs. When you're an interesting person and you're able to give good, interesting conversations about what's happening in your field or in the wider world, people will be happy to reconnect with you. So I would suggest you read books, you watch movies, engage in deep conversations. You may also feel like first posting on social media about things that you've been reading or some perspective you wish to offer, so that in case that connection is on LinkedIn, they will see that you're active there, and maybe the conversation will get started from that point itself. And the fifth one is to give more. This is again, successful networking is all about being generous. And again, this is about the same thing which I was telling you about net weaving. You can always help others by sending articles or making referrals or just sharing an encouraging word. It's so easy. If you're too scared to get on the phone and do a cold connect to revive, all you have to do is maybe send an email or a message, share something that you found, or make an introduction between two people who might find each other's networks useful. Give first, then ask later. Now, having given you these 5 tips, I want to also talk to you about how can you prevent your network from going cold, because the tips that I've given you earlier are only there to help you to revive it. You may not succeed, or if you succeeded, you may not succeed as well as you want. So prevention is always better than a cure. Let's look at these 7 tips, and they're very easy ones. The first is to be selective. Now, we all have a limited amount of time, and here I suggest that quality is always better than quantity if you want to cultivate authentic relationships. So you have to prioritize, figure out who your key contacts are, and devote more time in keeping in touch with them. Then it won't feel so cumbersome. In fact, if you look at the number of friends you may have acquired on Facebook or the number of connections you've acquired on LinkedIn, how many of them are you actually actively engaged with? Select the ones who really matter. Make sure that you don't lose touch with them. There are other ways also of taking care of other network members, and I'll tell you about that later. Now, here it is to create an organized system, and that means that networking has to be organized. It may mean that you scan your business cards or create a whole database or even keep an Excel spreadsheet or something that helps you to know who you connected with, when you connected, some extra additional information about them, so that you can find reasons to keep in touch. Could be their birthdays or work anniversaries or other useful things. Coming from the organized system, learn to block out time, because if it's not on your calendar, it's never going to happen. You could set aside, say, about a half an hour in the morning or in the evening to communicate with people, maybe make some phone calls, or you can set a goal to eat lunch with one of your contacts if they're in the same city, or even just fix appointments that, hey, let's catch up, sort of thing. And it doesn't have to be a 2-hour session. It could even be 15 minutes just to say hello. The other one is to increase your visibility. In other words, things like speaking or even posting on the social media networks where your contacts hang out on topics which are related to your career or your industry or even current affairs will also give you the opportunity to make new contacts and refresh old ones. So if you're not being affected by any COVID lockdowns, check your local communities and contact organizers for any upcoming industry event, or if there's an online event going on which has the facility of networking, use that. But definitely raise your visibility in a good way. Another thing I want to tell you is that people always love to hear from you if you are expressing a genuine interest in their lives and an appreciation for their achievements. So relay your good wishes if you find out that somebody has been promoted or has landed a major account or has gotten a new job. The two networks, so Facebook and LinkedIn, often give you notifications. A simple happy birthday can make a very big difference. Or if you find out somebody's got a work anniversary, just shoot them a message or even post on the news feed and say congratulations. Doesn't take too much, it's easy. And then send holiday greetings. Now, here you may be saying, oh my God, I've got 1,000 people in my network. How do I do that? So, here's what I recommend. There are certain occasions, whether it's a Diwali or Eid or Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's, when you can reach out to your network, even if you're not in touch with them regularly. A bonus tip: personalize the messages for your key contacts while creating a more generous message for those people with whom you interact less frequently. The point is that they should know that you remembered them. And finally, take some scheduled time off. When you take time off, it will help you to stay motivated and balanced. You may want to forget about business or your career when you're with your family or with your the rest of your community. It'll also give you time to relax and think, who do I need to connect with, or who do I need to stay in touch with? So that's from me. And because I started with LinkedIn and I've mentioned it so many times, I have a little special gift for you, and that is my ebook on the 5 mistakes professionals make on LinkedIn. The link to get this ebook is in the comments or in the summary, and I recommend that you download it. Very simple mistakes, and I also provide you with how to uh, avoid it or make up for it so that you don't irritate your network. And with my final words are to always remember that an effective network is more than collecting business cards. It's developing closer professional relationships, and you can do that to advance your career by keeping in touch with your contacts. And lastly, even if it kills you, take the initiative to reach out if you've let a valuable connection grow cold. So that's all from me from now. I'm Vatsala Shukla from Karmic Coaching, signing off. Do tell me about your own experiences. Bye for now.